Morning in New York City, and the athletes of MHP are starting their day. Coffee is made, food is prepared, children and pets attended to. There are few complaints. Their lives are no harder than the lives of the millions of other people in this densely populated region, also preparing for their jobs this morning. But this group is a bit different, in that their job is their bodies. They deal with the same frustrations and tasks as the rest of us, but at the same time always being aware that every action of every day and everything they put in their mouths must be dedicated toward one overarching goal, the perfection of the physique, bodybuilding. This relentless quest for perfection has led one of the newest MHP athletes to set aside bodybuilding for an entire year in order to get back to basics. One of 5 siblings raised by his grandmother in rural North Carolina, Ben White discovered powerlifting at an early age and did well as a competitor. But it was his early and surprising success in bodybuilding that caused him to think that he had found something at which he could truly excel. It began with his very first local show in New Jersey.
Ended up winning my class, and then I got called back out, won overall. I was like, oh my God, this is where I belong. I get the attention, people looking at me, I got these little underwear on. I was like, here we go. I said, so let me try it again. First time in Buffalo, walked out on stage, boom. Overall, got a plaque, I got my name on there. Like, oh my God, I'm good. I win my class overall. I ain't got to really train, this is good. Syracuse show, Ironman, won that one. Overall, I'm like, damn, I'm good, I'm on a roll. Metropolitan, first place overall. I said, again? Rochester show, overall again. I'm like, oh my God. Then I go to the Junior National in Chicago. I think I'm the shit. Yeah, I'm gonna win this and that. Oh, I won my class, but Lord and behold, it was Evan Sanapani. And he beat me. And I've been chasing that dude ever since.
After several more less than stellar showings, Ben realized he had hit a plateau. The solution? Return to powerlifting and perfect his lifting technique for 1 year.
Since I turned pro in 2007, I never took a break. Everybody else was taking breaks and doing this and that, and I had different sponsors and they wanted me to do shows, and that's what I want to do because, I mean, that's how I thought you win shows, but you don't win shows doing that. You win shows by taking a break, giving everybody a rest, and rebuilding. You have to rebuild. You can't just keep dying and dying and dying and dying. And my head is too big to be a sports model, so this ain't working. I want to be Mr. Olympia, but right now Phil Heath is Mr. Olympia. So in order to get to be Mr. Olympia, I have to reboot, be big again.
Meanwhile, in the Bronx, Yashira Robles and Marco Rivera start their day by first getting their daughter off to school. As it is with all couples, teamwork is the key to getting things done. But this morning it falls to Yashira to appease a little girl who doesn't seem quite ready to grow up.
I take her to school Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays. So she doesn't want to walk. She's like, no, mommy, please. And she'll fight with me because she wants me to take the carriage. And when he takes her to school, he takes the car. And then the school is right around the corner. But she fights with me about it. But it's funny though. I'm like, okay, fine, let's just take the carriage. So it's like this 4-year-old in a carriage, parking the carriage in front of the school to take her inside, and then back home, empty carriage. It's like, it's too much.
Before leaving for the gym, rice is put into an automatic cooker so it will be ready for later, and a few other chores are taken care of. Again, teamwork is key.
We understand the whole process. She understands my process, I understand hers, and she gets it, you know. She knows, you know, how critical it is to have to eat, and she knows me. She, like, you know, fuck is wrong with you? Like, you must be hungry. Your sugar level is low. We got to do this. Let's get something to eat, and you know, she understands me.
Why are you rinsing it? Well, I just try to get a lot of the starchiness off of the rice, you know, and the texture
you don't have such a gooey texture. Once the rice is nice and fully cooked, you have that nice flaky, loose rice. I'm just funny like that. And we're good to go. Rice will be done by the time we get back home. We'll be all set. Let's go grab some breakfast, huh? You know, the average gym rat do things when it's convenient for them. Versus a bodybuilder, we got to get things done. We got to get them done. From cardio to cooking to food shopping to work, you know, and still fulfilling the rest of our lives.
Sometimes, all the cooking required of the bodybuilding lifestyle can get tiresome, so Marco and Yashira will often stop at a local diner for breakfast. Most of the bodybuilders know and share among themselves the secret spots in the New York and New Jersey area where the restaurants understand and can cater to a bodybuilder's strict dietary requirements.
Because, like, you got places, especially downtown, they'll try to, like, get you for, like, anywhere from $1.50 to $2 and it's ridiculous. And, you know, this is a local spot for us, and they know I'm not eating a dozen eggs because that's what I love to do. It's part of what we do. They understand it, and they take care of us, man.
In another part of town, John, Pops De La Rosa, and Swan Cardo make their way through heavy traffic for their training session of the day. During the ride, Pops lets slip a troubling piece of information. He and John's mother are having marital difficulties and are undergoing a trial separation.
I was the one that told him when I decided to come to my mother's house, and I called him right away and I told him, listen, this is what's going on. We need a break right now. I need a break from the whole situation. Your mom needs a break. Could be temporary, could be permanent, but don't let this interrupt your prep. I've always told you to block out the things that can affect your prep, raise your stress level. You don't need that. Don't let it affect you.
It's well known that stress hormones can literally eat away muscle tissue. John has been especially susceptible to this throughout his career, too often allowing outside influences to hinder his mental state.
I stress a lot. I worry a lot about my family and, you know, people that are close to me. So, you know, things have been happening, and I kind of went through a mental checklist before I started my prep, and all the worst possible outcomes, because for whatever reason, every time I'm dieting and prepping for a competition, something comes up. And I'm not the only one, I'm sure, but something always comes up and kind of disrupts your focus and, you know, where I want to put my energy, you know.
At last year's New York Pro, difficulties with his previous relationship and the pressure of his first pro contest caused John to develop stomach ulcers. These compromised his ability to maintain his diet, and he arrived at the Tribeca Auditorium smaller and less conditioned than he had hoped. He knows he cannot let this current crisis affect him in that way.
I told him, you're choosing a career where you're going to have to dedicate a lot of your life to, a lot of your time and energy. And are you prepared, to put your focus 100% into something like this? Because there's going to be times in your life where things are going to interfere, whether you want to or not. No matter what comes your way, for you to be your best, for you to think you're going to be number one, all your energy, your mental energy, physical energy, you have to put things aside. You have to learn how to compartmentalize things and put them outside of your life and put all your energy into what you want to accomplish.
He cares so much about others, his family first, his friends. I wish he cared a little more about himself.
I worry about everybody else so much, and I put myself last so much of the time. And Swan always yells at me about it. But I don't know. It's something that it's hard for me to, push everything aside and and just focus on me. And at times I feel guilty, and I always think about when Victor was locked up for the immigration issue. You know, I'm sitting there, and I remember so many times thinking, this is my 7th, 8th meal of the day, and Victor was maybe on his 2nd or 3rd. You know, and those are the things I think about. You know,
that doesn't mean you're a selfish person, and we all know how much you care about us. We all know how much, you know, you're gonna do whatever you can for others, no matter what. But it's when it's time for you, we all know that, and we all respect that.
There's one of him when he was a little younger. I think it was probably one of his birthdays. Yep, it sure was. Oh, there you go. That's us two right here. Me holding him up. I used to say he used to think he was a bodybuilder. Yes, that was him doing one of his little bodybuilding poses. So even back then, he thought he was a little bodybuilder, and I guess he turned. And talk about active, this is all John used to do. He used to be active, playing with balls, sticks, climbing up trees. He was very active. He was hyper. Yeah, that's his mom there holding him. We've had our issues through the years, but every relationship does, I guess. You know, even the most perfect relationship, they have their ups and downs. But as far as picking the right person to be the mother of my kids, I couldn't have made a better choice. She dedicated herself fully to her kids, and probably more than me. Once her kids took over her life, that was her world. I've been together with my wife for 31 years now, and sometimes during difficult times, you know that the family is the most important thing, and your kids are the most important thing in your life. And sometimes relationships can drag on for longer than they should because of that.
I can't say he's okay with it. I'm totally not, but he's dealing with it.
NYBB Blue is brought to you by MHP, the performance nutrition innovator. Go with MHP, the most trusted supplement brand of amateur and pro bodybuilders around the world. Since breaking his arm in an unfortunate incident goofing around with a fan, Victor Martinez has undergone many painful hours of physical therapy. Though he is not yet training at full volume again, he still continues to make personal appearances. Wherever he goes, Vic is sure to draw a crowd. Because he is bilingual, Victor's fan base is large and crosses cultural lines.
Yeah, we're not going to tienes down to me and, natural, así, pero funcionar naturalmente, porque no quiere una batida ahora, después una batida en 2 horas.
He always gives generously of his time when asked for advice by hopeful young bodybuilders. The physical therapy and a wrist brace have made everyday tasks a bit easier. But of course, Martinez's goal is not to simply regain the use of his arm, but to be able to tackle the seemingly impossible task of getting his physique back to the point where he can compete and dominate once again on the competitive stage. That journey begins here at one of Victor's favorite training spots, under the supervision of his longtime trainer, Victor Munoz. Very quickly, we discover that Vic is understandably a little uneasy about his first day training back.
You said you want to do back?
Yeah.
Okay, close grip chins. Can't do that.
It'll be the first time. I'll try.
Well, we're not gonna, if you don't want.
Try it. I'll do it. The first pull-up was something that was very difficult to do and something difficult to face. But just that fear of getting on that pull-up bar and not knowing, can I do the pull-up? Will my arm re-break again? It's a chance, I was taking, but at the same time, the more fear I have of it, the more I'm going to approach it and I'm going to do it. you know, because it's something that I needed to go through in order to get that feel. I need to work on my back. I need to help, you know, get my strength back.
That's good. That's good. There you go.
The hand was the most difficult. I could curl, I could use my muscle. But the hand was the most tricky because, again, it had to do with nerve. It wasn't just muscle. It had to do with nerve and your mind connecting with the wrist and your hand. And like I said, the simplest thing, just, you know, wiggling your hand and just moving it around, it was just, it wasn't happening. There was no connection with brain and hand, and it's frustrating. I mean, I could not think of anything more frustrating than trying to control something that's attached to you. It was hard, it was difficult, and I would have to say psychologically it was definitely a challenge.
Here, I see all the muscle fibers, and here it's like it's smooth.
Yeah.
He knows that he has to visualize this, and he has to want it more than ever before. He's right now more than against the wall. He's actually in the bottom of the pit right now. People have forgotten him. Some loyal fans are still care about him and all that, but you can be here today, gone tomorrow. We haven't seen the last of Victor yet, and we're here for the long haul, not the short haul.
Back in Saratoga Springs, Ben White is also starting over.
Take a step back. And from here, pull the chest up as high and as hard as you can. So don't hyperextend. Good. Then squat.
Accustomed to using brute force for his lifting, Ben feels that it's time to take his career to a new level and begin anew by learning proper lifting form.
Even myself as a trainer, you have to humble yourself when you're training because you don't know it all. I mean, simple exercises like this, something that I never squatted before, and now I'm learning the basics back from the beginning again. My legs were big, and now I'm squatting, so imagine how big my legs will get.
Here at Feral CrossFit, Noah Milstein is helping to diagnose and fix Ben's weaknesses. As Noah sees it, Ben's biggest hurdle is his flexibility.
The problem right now is that you're so inflexible that it's when you get to low bar position, you shoot beyond it, and it slides beneath the spine of the scapula and then starts sliding off the back. So the way you compensate, the way your body's compensating is by grounding the thoracic spine. So you're losing transmission through your spine.
Noah is one of a growing movement of young lifters and bodybuilders for whom science and research is paramount. He is incredibly knowledgeable and detailed in his methods and instruction.
I want you to get to a challenging weight, but it's going to be challenging for your adductors, not for the rest of your body.
Right.
He's really, really immobile, and so because of his immobility, it's preventing him from accessing ideal mechanics. So as a consequence, he moves inefficiently because he can't hit his body can't hit the right positions in order to produce maximal force.
The solution? A routine of stretching followed by box squats.
So the load is going to be more disproportionately loaded in his posterior chain, which he's not really activating because he can't hit those positions. So it forces him to hit those positions, stretches him out, and shifts more of the load towards his adductors, which are currently both atrophied and tight.
So now you go back to basics and you learn the correct way to squat, which I can squat more than this, but in this reconstruction project, it's my hamstring, glutes, and back that need work. I neglected myself for roughly 20 years. Now that I'm coming back, we'll see what the squats do and the deadlift. And friendly competition. Because now I'm not the strongest no more.
Marco and Yashira arrive at Star Fitness to begin their workout. They like to train at Star because it's a nice gym, yet still bodybuilder friendly. No lunk alarms here.
I've been in Star since they opened up. They understand what it takes. They let me bodybuild. They let me do what I gotta do. And they understand that it's a whole different level. We're not grunting and moaning for no reason. You know, we're going through some stuff. A lot of athletes have come out of there. A lot of people do compete out of Star in comparison to the rest of the gyms all throughout the city. You know, so to say something about a gym, okay, what has that gym produced? You know, and Star Fitness has produced a decent amount of athletes. A lot of competitors have come out of there.
Across town, Pops De La Rosa tries to keep the spirit light. Though emotions are high, the bond between father and son remains strong.
Here we go, come on. I'm more than a father to John. I'm his best friend. I'm his big brother. We have this relationship where we can talk about anything and everything. From both our ends, you know, from my end and from his end. That's the type of relationship that we have.
Let's go, Bob, come on.
I got it. I got it.
Swan tries to be a comfort, but she knows as well as John that this is no time for melancholy. This is what they came here to do. This is what their entire day has been directed towards. Even though the time spent in the gym is just the tip of the iceberg in a bodybuilder's day, all of the athletes know that it is also extremely important to be as focused as possible while training. The cares and strife of life will wait outside the gym door. For now, all that matters is the iron, the reps, the pain, and the sweat. They all know that somewhere out there, in another gym, in another city, a rival is training just as hard and wants the prize just as bad.
You know, it's not a comfortable place to be, and doing that day in and day out. You know, you can train comfortably and get big and put on and eat and just kind of follow things and, you know, just put on some good size, and you don't have to generally kill yourself. But when it comes to competitive bodybuilding, let alone wanting to be the one to win, it's winning, you know, then at that point you have to be, you got to be different. Everything you do has got to be different. The intensity's got to be different. Your thinking has got to be different. You know, when you're in the zone, man, you have to be able to think of things that just take you someplace else. And however that may be, whatever thought that may be, you gotta really dig deep, man.
So. Oh. 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 So.
fuck. Talk about going someplace else, man. I'm still there.
MHP's NYBB Blue is brought to you by Muscular Development Magazine and the MuscularDevelopmentStore.com. Shop the MuscularDevelopmentStore.com for great prices on all MHP products.